Everybody has been wondering just what the heck is going on with Alain Saint-Maximin at the moment with regards to his hamstring injury. Just last week, of course, we were told that he was going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. It was a bit of a nasty injury to his hamstring and that he wouldn't be available for 4 to 6 weeks. However, about an hour after that on Instagram, we see a post from Maxi's account running quite quickly along the Riviera there. We're not sure if that was an old photo or not, but it was made. And you know, a lot of fans saying, including myself, really, if he's running like that, why not? Why is he not home? Why is he not at the home training ground? Even if he has to train separately, but he can run like that, get him home. But we know that Maxi likes to recuperate in France and get treatment in France. I don't have a problem with that. But this injury seems to be dragging on a little longer than probably what Eddie Howe thought. So maybe those reports are right. But he had a lot more to say than just Maxi. So let's dive in and have a look right now what he had to say. This is the Daily News. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Toon Review Daily News. And just before we dive into all the stuff that Eddie Howe had to say this morning, if you can please, if you do like this video, hit that like button for us. I can't stress how important it is to keep those likes coming in on the channel because it does put us up in the search results, and anybody else that's wanting to find Newcastle related content will soon come across the Toon Review. So it is vitally important, guys, that we get those likes in. And also, if you are new and you have found us, why not come and be part of the community by hitting that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and of course the notification as well, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos. So thank you in advance for that, everybody. Right, let's dive into what Eddie Howe had to say. Now, on the game against Tottenham on Sunday, he said it's a huge game for us. There's no denying that. At this stage of the season, the games are running out and we're playing one of our competitors in the league. We're pleased to be at home and hope we can feel the force of the crowd. So basically what Eddie's hoping for there is a fabulous atmosphere on Sunday. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that we are going to see a fantastic atmosphere on Sunday. You know, we as fans, we know how important this game is for our Champions League hopes. If we beat Spurs, it puts a good gap between us and them. And we have an opportunity to really stay amongst that top four, which is what we want to do at the end of the day. We never thought at the start of the season that we would be in this position, but look, we are. And it's very important that we continue that. I think Champions League is very much on the cards for us, but we need to improve from last week's display. It was very, very disappointing. There was no fire in the bellies of the players, which I've said last night on the preview show that I hope there is fire in the bellies this time around, that they go out and really go at Tottenham from the word go. Because the first half displays have not been great against Brentford and Villa. We know Brentford, we were good enough to turn the game around in great fashion. But Villa, we just didn't get going at all in the whole 90 minutes. So that will be a worry for Eddie Howe. And although I'm saying that there should be fire in the bellies of the fans and really get the players going, the players shouldn't need any motivation on Sunday. Because A, it's basically a massive Champions League qualifying game to pull us away from Tottenham. And B, they'll want to respond from that poor display at Villa last week. If they don't respond straight away, then there's a problem there. You know, we've got to see that fire from the players from the word go. But look, we know the flags, the music, the atmosphere before the game will be tremendous on Sunday. So we will do our part, but it's very important that the players do theirs. Now, on Saint-Maximin, he said, we're not 100% sure on Maxi yet. There's not been a setback. It's taken maybe a little longer than we initially thought, but with hamstring injuries, you've got to be careful. Now, we know this from Callum Wilson. You know, Callum Wilson's had hamstring problems for a long time, and I think Eddie's done well with Callum Wilson this season to just sort of nurture him, if you like, and just keep an eye on the hamstrings. Maxi suffers the same sort of problem. We've seen comments over the last couple of weeks saying, oh, he's made a glass, he can't play 3 or 4 games and then he's out and things like that, which is true. You know, we don't see him certainly this season, we don't see him going from, a good stretch of games. When he plays, he's very explosive, which might obviously have something to do with the hamstrings. When you're this kind of winger and you're explosive like that, you do tend to pick up muscle injuries. But, that report that came out, last week saying 4 to 6 weeks, is that report actually going to be far away from what it actually is? Because he's been out, 3 weeks now? So, is it? 2 or 3 weeks he's been out, so you just don't know. 4 weeks is probably going to be ideal. I don't think, from what Eddie said there, that we're going to see Maxi on Sunday. Possibly on the bench if he feels that he's fit enough to be on the bench. But again, is he going to play a huge impact in the game? We don't know. Certainly having Maxi come off the bench, if we need him, will be very, very good for us. Because if for any particular reason on Sunday, we need that bit of explosive force in the second half, we need somebody to change a game, Maxi can come on and do that. We've seen him do that many times this season already. So just what Eddie Howe's saying there, I don't think we're going to see him involved, which is disappointing. But there's apparently no setback there. It's just taking a little longer than first thought. So maybe the reports of 4 weeks is going to be right. It's a strange one. It's a very strange one on Maxi, but we need him back. We know we need him back. For me, we missed him against Villa because we need that player who's going to get the ball and take players on. And certainly on Sunday against Porro, we've heard Spurs fans say that he's great going forward, but not great defensively. Maxi would be the perfect man to have on that pitch, down that left-hand side, running at him constantly, not knowing if he's going to come inside or outside. That's the type of player we need against Spurs on Sunday. But it looks from what Eddie said there that there's no chance of that happening. Now, on the Aston Villa defeat, he said it was uncharacteristic performance from us. We've been so consistent home and away, and we've not always won the games, but we've had certain hallmarks within the performance, and it was probably the first time that we didn't deliver those. It was maybe a good time to regroup and refocus our energies on our performance with so few games to go. Now, we did say this, of course, a lot of Newcastle fans have said this, not just our channel, but a lot. That maybe the defeat was the kick up the arse that they needed just to realise that it's not going to be a simple, straightforward walk into the top four of the Premier League. We have some very, very difficult games coming up. We've got to go to Goodison Park on Thursday. That's certainly not going to be an easy game given Everton's situation. And most of our games are around teams who are either fighting relegation or battling for Europe. So we're not playing sort of many of those middle lot who've got nothing to play for. So it's very important that we are on our game from the word go. We've still got Brighton to play. We've got Chelsea to play. We've got Arsenal to play. So we've got a couple of teams there who are involved in everything. So they're not just going to sit back and let Newcastle roll over them. We have got to do our bit. And quite frankly, if that's the kick up the arse that we need last week, and that takes us on to a new level for the rest of the season, I'll be happy with that. And that's certainly what the manager's looking for. We were terrible last week. There's no two ways about it. We were god-awful. We didn't get going at all. Eddie tried changing some things in the second half. That didn't work either. Now, normally, when we've seen him make tweaks and changes, it's kicked us on. We've seen that when we blew teams away in the second half of games. But that doesn't seem to happen last week, which would have been a worry to Eddie. But it's also those players, they will have gone in that dressing room after the game and know fine well they weren't good enough. They will know the performance was not there. Eddie probably wouldn't have had to say much to them in the dressing room. Obviously, words would have been had before training and where it went wrong. They'll have watched the game again. So, like I said earlier, I'm expecting a completely different Newcastle United on Sunday to the one that we saw at Villa Park. But who comes in? Who knows? I mean, Miggy's fit again. So does he make any changes? Now, being back at St James's Park, Eddie said hopefully the crowd will have an impact like they've done in other games. The huge league games, the crowd have been magnificent for us and definitely carried us in certain moments. It's the kind of game when you're never sure it's going to go your way for 90 minutes. And there will be moments in the game where we need to be strong and compact together, and hopefully the crowd can help. Now, we've talked about many, many times Newcastle United and how many times we want to see a full 90-minute performance. Now, I know sort of you can't be on top of a team for 90 minutes. It's just the way football is. But the performance against Manchester United a couple of weeks ago at St James's Park just identified what we can do when we're on it for 90 minutes. Yes, there was parts of the game where Man United came and attacked us, but we didn't suffer badly from that. But there will be moments on Sunday when Spurs come at us because of what they've got to play for and the calibre of player that they have available in their team. Yes, they are suffering badly from a lot of injuries. However, they still have players on that pitch who are game winners. You look at Kane, whether you like him or not about what he does, away from the goal scoring, he's still a tremendous goal scorer. You've got Son, you've got Kulusevski, you've got Højbjerg, who I think is a very underrated midfielder. But the thing about Spurs on Sunday is their defence isn't strong. And, the Tottenham fans have said that as well. They are worried about their defence. They're worried about this game on Sunday. And rightly so, they should be. But I'm not writing Tottenham off here. Tottenham are one of those teams that if they do turn up on the day, they can give anybody a game. But we are like that as well. If we turn up on Sunday at home and go at them like we did at Manchester United, I don't hold much hope for Tottenham. I think we'll beat Tottenham and beat them comfortably. But like Eddie said, we've got to stay with them for the full game. It's not a case of, first 10 minutes, brilliant atmosphere, then the game kind of quietens down a bit and we quieten down because the players love responding to the crowd. But we also have to see that from the players. I get that. But we've got to, now at this stage of the season, we've got to do everything to help our football club and help those 11 on the pitch to really perform and help us get the Champions League. Now, Sean Longstaff, a lot of people were wondering where Sean was. Of course, he missed he didn't start against Villa, he came on. But in fact, it's confirmed that he's had an illness. He's over his illness, said Eddie, and he's trained well this week. I've always maintained he's a hugely important part of our midfield, both in and out of possession. He is a very intelligent footballer. So I think a lot of his off-the-ball work goes unnoticed. On the ball, he's got a really good way of keeping the ball for the team, which is invaluable quality. He's got an eye for a really progressive pass as well, so he helps us go through teams' structures. Now, for me, he was a massive miss at Aston Villa. I don't care what anybody says about Sean Longstaff. We missed him, and it was quite clear we missed him against Villa. Yes, he did come on, and it didn't really change anything in the game. But, if he'd had an illness, he wasn't at full bat, was he? So, you know what? A lot goes, like Eddie said, very unnoticed with Sean, especially off the ball. Because when Sean Longstaff plays, it frees Bruno up a little more to play a bit more on the ball. Bruno last week was having to do a lot of the dirty work as well, the tackling and stuff like that. And it didn't free him up to create anything going forward. Whereas if Sean Longstaff plays, it creates a lot more. Longstaff has a hell of an engine on him now. He'll bomb forward and then he'll bomb back as well. You see Sean Longstaff at the end of the game, he's knackered. But one thing about Sean is he's fit enough now to do that for the full 90 minutes. Whether he comes off knackered, he's done a hell of a shift. But I think we drastically missed him. Missed him against Villa. We missed that competitive side of him in the middle, going against Douglas Luiz. That would have freed up Bruno. There's no doubt about that. But it's a question of who he replaces in the side. That's what Eddie's got to have a think about now. What does he do down that left-hand side? What does he do down the right-hand side? What does he do in the middle of the park? So he's got decisions to make for Sunday's game. But I think Longstaff comes back in. I'm under no doubt about that. I think it'll be Sean Longstaff in, no doubt, because of the work he does. And a lot of fans, I think, will have probably noticed last week that he was a miss. He was a big miss. Now, finally, on Emil Kraft, this forgotten Swedish right back that we have, who suffered that horrendous injury, of course, at Tranmere in the Carabao Cup. Eddie said he's doing well. He's confident about his recovery. I'm not sure we'll see him in the squad before the end of the season, but what we do hope is that we can implement him back into training very lightly towards the end of the season. Now, for me, again, one of the most improved players that we saw at the beginning of this season was undoubtedly Emil Kraft. He's come in and he's done a very good job. He's worked hard under Eddie Howe and he has steadily improved. This injury, huge setback for him. Missing all the season like he has. It's just been huge. And Emil Kraft is somebody that we need in the squad. He was everybody was making fun of him, calling him the Swedish Cafu and things like that when he first came to the club. But again, this is one of the players that looked like very, very promising upturn in form with Eddie Howe. And unfortunately, he's got injured. So for me, Emil Kraft will be a welcome addition back to the squad. But, going off what Eddie Howe's had to say there, obviously he'll not be in the squad competitively wise till next season. But it looks like if they want to implement him back into training, lightly towards the end of the season, he does have a view of keeping him in the squad for next season. So, yeah, we just have to wait and see on that one. Now, away from the press conference, I'd just like to say a massive happy birthday to Newcastle United women manager Becky Langley. It's her birthday today. Of course, Becky is doing an absolutely fantastic job with the ladies' team, and long may that continue. They play this weekend again. They've got some tough away games coming up. They need goals, they need wins all the way through, and hopefully gain promotion, which they thoroughly deserve because Becky's done a wonderful job. So happy birthday, Becky. Enjoy that birthday, and then hopefully back to work and winning ways again after a fabulous game at St James's Park last weekend. So there you go, guys. That is what Eddie Howe has had to say this morning. Interesting on certainly on Longstaff and Maxi. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think the injury to Maxi was actually long-term and Eddie was just trying to throw people off the scent? Is he still trying to do that by just saying he's not 100% fit yet? What does that mean? Does it mean he's fit enough to be on the bench, or does that mean he's still completely out? Are you confident of seeing an upturn in form from last week? Are you confident of beating Spurs? I do read all the comments, guys, so hammer them down below and let me know what you think. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Please do, as I said at the start, give that like button a smash for us. Keep those coming in. And if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed what you've seen, hit that subscribe button, which is completely free to do so. And also that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos. But that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, guys. Have a great day. Take care.